This production is made possible by the generous support of the following sponsors: Walmart Foundation, Alaska State Council on the Arts, Golden Heart Community Foundation, Fairbanks Arts Association, Marriott Foundation, Music Mart, and Community Covenant Church. Thank you.
Summer Arts Festival, welcome to our Guest Artist Spotlight Series. My guest today is teacher, composer, conductor, master trumpeter Keith Karns. He is joining us from his home in Salem, Oregon. Welcome, Keith.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Keith, in this series, we like to highlight a guest artist that's going to be with the Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival. And so you, as the guest, have the option. Would you like to do an interview first, or would you like to give me my first trumpet lesson as the first thing?
Start with an interview, do a little talking, and then we can play some trumpet.
Outstanding! Okay, so for those who don't know, you were born and raised in North Pole, Alaska. What do you remember most about your years growing up in North Pole, in interior Alaska? Is it the summers or the winters?
I remember a lot of that kind of stuff. I guess probably like the most vivid memory, non-music related memory, is moose hunting and fishing and hiking. One summer I helped my grandpa build a cabin on the Yukon River. All that kind of Alaskan-y stuff that, down here in the lower 48, we kind of talk about offhandedly, and people are like, where are you from? What universe is this guy coming from?
Now, when Portland and Oregon closed down because of a half an inch of snow, do you stay home with everybody else, or are you the one who's like, I will save the neighborhood and drive to the grocery store because I have snow driving skills?
My first year here, we got about an inch of snow. I didn't realize they shut the university down until I had already driven out here. And so I was like, well, heck, I'm already out here. So I stayed for 3 or 4 hours to practice and get work done. Students were here. I got stuff done.
Nice. So in your musical career, you slip fairly seamlessly between 3 distinct roles. There's the conductor of the band, there is the composer of the music, and then there's also the performer. When you're up here with the festival, you tend to wear all 3 hats at once and slip in and out of the band. Which of those roles do you enjoy the most?
I think I'd add a 4th role, and that's educator. And a lot of what I do as a band leader, as a composer, as a performer is in some way in service of that main goal of just helping people get to the next level with their musicianship, helping to build and strengthen music communities. That's a big thing that the festival does up in Alaska, and just really being an advocate for music in general and jazz in particular.
So when did you know that you wanted to be a musician? And when did you know that you actually could be a musician? Like that was within the realm of possibility?
I started, I think, in Alaska, at least when I was a kid, I started band in 4th grade at Tuckasik Brown Elementary School in North Pole. Mr. Opkenorth was my band director. I wasn't that interested in band until the summer after I was in 7th grade. And there used to be, at that time, there was a fantastic camp that Ted DeCorso and other folks ran up at UAF, the Fairbanks Summer Fine Arts Camp. And I went to that and I played in the band and the jazz band, and then I took trumpet lessons with the trumpet professor at UAF at the time, John Harbaugh. And like hearing that guy play, I had never heard anything like the sound that guy could get out of the trumpet. And he had me do just a couple of like really simple things, and all of a sudden I was getting that sound out of the trumpet. And that was such, I remember when that happened, I was my third or fourth lesson with him, and it was like a light went off, and I was like, this is the most amazing thing in the whole world. And so I didn't really think about, I'm going to do this as a career. I just knew I wanted to do more of it. I ended up going, after my junior year of high school, I ended up going to the Interlochen Arts Camp in Michigan, and that was kind of my first taste of what music was like outside of Alaska. And so I ended up going to school in Wisconsin to study music. I went to the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, which is a school no one's ever heard of. It was a fantastic place for me to be because I had a really great mentor in Bob Baca, he's still the trumpet professor out there. And he and John Harbaugh are the two people who really helped me build my house as a musician. Without those two people, like I would be, adrift.
So you have a degree from the University of North Texas, from Wisconsin-Eau Claire, from Indiana University, I believe I saw, and then now you're the director of jazz at Western Oregon University. So having had time and experience in all those different programs, what do you tell high school students mostly, but people who are looking to get into the music field and music programs? What have you gleaned that you tell them is the most important piece?
Well, like everything, I think your education is all about relationships. And so I think it's easy to say, well, I want to go to a school that has I want to go to a really good music school. Juilliard, I've heard of. That place has a really great reputation. Or University of North Texas, that place has a great reputation. Let's use UNT. I loved my time at UNT. I was a student there. I also taught there. I directed some of the jazz ensembles there, and I taught jazz improvisation there. I taught trumpet lessons. It was a fantastic place for me to do my doctorate. Fantastic place for me to learn how to teach. Some high school students, like the North Texas environment, it's a Shark Tank. I remember the 1 o'clock band has its first concert the second day of classes. Or no, it's the third day of classes. They have their concert. So they have auditions one day, one rehearsal, a 4-hour concert. When that rehearsal, it's a luxury. It's like, oh my gosh, thank God we're having a rehearsal. Well, I remember the guy I was playing fourth trumpet, the guy playing second trumpet, I just thought was an amazing musician on our first concert. Apparently the director did not think so. And the next day we show up for rehearsal and he's gone and they've replaced him with someone else. Like the motto of the school is you're only as good as your last gig. So anyway, to get back to your question, I'd say it's all about relationships. And those relationships I think are way more important than any kind of brand name the school has, like Eastman or Juilliard or North Texas or something like that. They're all great schools, but if you can go to a great school and not have a great relationship with that teacher, and it's going to be a waste of your time.
So you've released a couple of albums, 2012's Thought and Memory, and then 2017's An Eye on the Future. What did you learn from the first album that you then took with you into making the second one?
One of the things when I was in Denton, I wrote a lot for the 1 o'clock band there, and I wrote a lot for I did a lot of commissions. I was just writing all the time when I was there, and one of the things that did for me was it really helped me find my voice. And so the new record, the one that came out 3 years ago, I feel like it's a really good representation of my musical values, how I deal with harmony, how I deal with the blues, how I deal with form. how I like balance the improvisatory aspect of the music with a big orchestrated project. So I feel like it's more honest and it's better crafted.
You enjoy going out crabbing along the Oregon coast. What is the best crab dish that you have encountered?
I've had more crab in the last 6 months than I think I've had my entire life, and that includes like I was born in Wrangell, Alaska, in Southeast, and we had crab quite a bit. Hands down, the best way we've had to eat it is just like do a crab boil it in seasoned water, and then crack it and dip it in garlic butter. I challenge anyone to find a better way of preparing crab than that.
So speaking of your son, the title of your second album was originally written as a lullaby on the night that you found out that your wife was pregnant. So how has being a father influenced your music?
I've actually been thinking about that a lot. I'm in the middle of writing a new record. Before you're a parent, you like your idea. You can have your ideals be like kind of the pinnacle of your being, and whatever you believe in as an artist, whatever you artistically believe in, like this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm going for, and you can be uncompromising. And as a parent, all of a sudden, like that role like takes priority over your life. And so it's not that your music is diminished, but like you got a baby, like you can't like split and say, hey bud, daddy's got to go write some tunes. It's made me be more careful with what I write. And so before, I don't feel like my time was as valuable. So I could just sit down and spend like a week writing something, be like, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Let's see how it goes. And now, like, if I spent a week on something that ended up not being usable for a project, like that would be a huge setback.
Right.
And so the planning stages of everything I do are much more detail oriented. I feel like I'm slower, but I'm more deliberate.
Yeah, it's all cost benefit, and like if I invest my time into this, what am I going to be missing in that other realm? And those are things that you don't think of before. Well, I think that the next best thing that you can do is to help somebody who's never picked up a trumpet before take their first steps into it. So, shall we proceed?
Yeah, we'll proceed. Okay, so people tell me, I'm going to give you the kind of the 50 Cent first trumpet lesson. People tell me that when I do this lesson, it's like a mix of two of my teachers, Bill Adam and John Harbaugh. So if this seems like a John Harbaugh impression, it might be.
Let's learn something new.
All right, so what do you got there in your hand?
So I have here a trumpet that is donated from the Music Mart. They were kind enough to let me borrow it for the day.
Is there another name for that instrument?
They said it's a...
How about a wind instrument?
I thought this was a brass instrument.
Well, it's made of brass, but it's a wind instrument. So all wind instruments are instruments that you need to blow into to get the sound, right? So without the wind, there's no sound. See, listen, no sound.
I hear nothing.
This thing is filled with air. The instrument is already full of air. So we're not going to blow a note out of this horn. You don't need a lot of air to get a note out of this horn. But you need moving air to get a note out of this horn. All right? So good trumpet playing is all about outward airflow. So let's think about how we can get that air moving. Imagine it's a summer day and you and your family are out, and you screwed up, and you didn't get the right kind of watermelon. Instead of getting seedless watermelon, you got seeded watermelon. Take a big bite of watermelon, you get a mouthful of seeds. What do?
Spit them out.
You spit them out, and you go, right? Can you do that for me? And spit it out with a 2. You're gonna go 2.
2.
Yeah.
2.
And you don't need to vocalize 2. Just go. All right. How long could you do that before your lips got tired?
I could do it for a couple of seconds.
Well, you can do it for like a couple of seconds before you need a breath.
Right.
But I'm talking about before your lips get tired.
I would guess I could do that for a couple of minutes before my lips got tired.
I think you. I don't know about you. I feel like I could do that for like hours. I'd need like a bathroom break, or someone have to bring me a sandwich before I got tired doing that. Right? It's not playing trumpet. Is not a physical activity. We're just going. Okay. Now, take your mouthpiece, and when you turn it around, you're not facing the mouthpiece towards you. You're facing this part. It's called the shank towards you. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I want you to try and spit that watermelon seed through this little hole here. Okay.
Okay.
And can you hear that air through a straw sound?
I can. Yeah.
We want to get that as big and beefy and resonant as possible, all right? Now, let's think about some music. What kind of music do you know that just goes da, da, da? None of it does, right?
None of it, right.
We want a big, long, flowing melody. Ya da da dee da da dee ya da dee ya dee ya da 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 dee ya da da dee da.
That's a lot of watermelon seeds.
The melody, the sound rides on that air. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be blowing our watermelon seed through the lead pipe, or through the mouthpiece. But now we're going to sustain it. Do that for me. Great. How long could you do that before your lips got tired?
It wasn't the lips that I felt tired. It was the lungs and not having the air.
Air, right?
Yeah.
So this brings me to the next thing. Now, this hole, if you look at this hole, right?
Yep.
That hole is bigger than that hole, right?
By Jove, it is.
Okay, cool. That's a good thing. It's called a taper. The taper of the mouthpiece is really important because it sets up resistance in the horn. But we're going to put the mouthpiece in, and we're going to do that same thing into the horn. And it's going to go like this. Try that. Not bad. Now remember, we're spitting our watermelon seed, right? And so we're going, right? Try that.
So where should my lips be on the mouthpiece? Should they be at the top and bottom or middle of it?
So say the word dim.
Dim.
Okay, then put the mouthpiece up to your face.
Mm-hmm.
Now the mouthpiece should be flat against your face.
Dim.
All right, now, if you did that for about 45 minutes a day, in about a week, you'd be ready to start playing. We can do scales and patterns. I might start you out on something like I know we're almost out of time, but like for anyone who's watching this, who is seeing what we're doing and is like, well, of course Dr. Karns sounds great because he's just so talented. Talent does not that's not a thing. If you want to learn how to play, all you got to do is practice. There's no secret sauce, there's no talent, there's no special thing. You just have to get yourself in a practice room and put the horn on your face and do it.
Okay, so that is our time for today. Special thanks to Dr. Keith Karns for coming by. Where can people find out more about you or your music?
Yeah, you can go on my website, www.keithkarnsmusic.com. I'm on Facebook quite a lot. I'm on Instagram. If you check out my Instagram, it is literally only just what I've practiced today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to get in touch.
You can learn more about the Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival at www.fsaf.org. We'll see you next time.